sleep. So I'm gonna record a video, because that's what I do. Alright, it's been a while since I've done one of these. It's been a long, long while. I'm teaching now. I'm teaching high school and middle school English at the school where I went. And my coffee is boiling, so I'm gonna go take care of that real quick. Alright. For many reasons, I've partitioned parts of my life. There is Temple West. She's a part of me. She's not my real name. I curated her for a purpose, and she has served that purpose well. And then there's my real name and my real life, which is even further segmented to accommodate the insanity that is modern life. And I'm about to turn 29. I'm firmly an adult now, I think. The fact that I have to qualify that is not a good sign. But I can suffer the consequences of the internet. I can handle it. But I'm a teacher now, and I have students as young as 12, 11, I think. I teach 6th grade through 12th grade. That's a whole story. They have phones, and they have the internet, and they have social media, and I see them interacting in the hallways, and it's just, I don't want this world for them. I want a better world for them. Like, I don't want to be a mother. That's just not a track of life that's ever interested me. So teaching is probably the closest I'm ever gonna get. So in a way, I feel very protective of these kids because they are my responsibility now as their teacher, as their educator, as the person who's supposed to help shape their minds. And this curation of identity that I've been doing for the past 10, 15 years is a stopgap. It's a tourniquet. It's not the way it's supposed to be, I don't think. I think we're supposed to be all of who we are, no matter where we are or what we're doing. And that hasn't been true for me. And I don't know that it's true for anyone right now. I think we all put on different parts of ourselves in order to survive certain situations, which sounds dramatic, but I gotta think. Yes. So I'm an author. I have 2 published books, working on the 3rd. I'm going to be releasing a book, hopefully before Christmas, a book of poetry actually. I'm also a screenwriter, and I've had a ridiculous list of day jobs over the past 10 or 15 years, from nanny to project manager at a software development agency, and pretty much everything in between, which has been fascinating. Work is work. If you can feed yourself, that's good. My screenwriting partner and I just got into Austin Film Festival, a pilot that we wrote, the semi-finalist, which was exciting. Even in that regard, with my real name, I abbreviate part of the name so that no one knows if I'm a man or a woman, because I don't want anyone to judge my work either way by knowing my gender and having an idea in their head of what my work is supposed to be because of my gender, whether they think I'm a man or a woman. And gender, that's a whole topic. Where was I going with that? Identity. I guess all I'm saying is I wish we lived in a world where we could be the entirety of ourselves all the time. That we didn't have to have pseudonyms or filters or all the things that separate us from who we are and therefore separate us from everyone else. But it's also practical, right? Partitioning yourself. So as Temple West, I write young adult romance novels, which is great, and I love them. I wrote the first draft of the first book when I was 19, and I'm now about to turn 29. And as someone who wants to be taken seriously, a part of me cringes a little when I tell people the genre of my book, because it's not a particularly well-respected genre. And I didn't want my novel writing under that genre to interfere with my screenwriting, which is more sci-fi, fantasy, drama, comedy, not necessarily romance. Not necessarily not, though. I didn't want it to hurt my chances of being taken seriously elsewhere in my life. And yet I'm not ashamed of my work. I wouldn't necessarily write the first book now, and if I did, I wouldn't necessarily write it the same way. There are definitely things in there I would change if I could, but I can't. I have to let that work go and move on and continue to do better work. And if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't written my first book, and that wasn't my first book, that was just the first book that got published, I wouldn't be a better writer now. And in a culture of perfectionism, of surface perfection, it's hard to make peace with work that isn't up to your current standards. And pieces of it are. Pieces of are things I'm very proud of. But the internet doesn't die. It lives on. Everything that goes on there lives on forever, as far as we can tell. And that's a strange thing that hasn't existed really in humanity's history, of things existing perpetually and perfectly without degradation. Information doesn't degrade. You build a building, like I studied at Oxford for a semester, and the buildings are 1,000 years old, but they're not gonna last forever. They're eventually going to crumble. The materials are going to dissolve with time. But the internet, as far as we can tell, as far as I can tell, is not going to die unless the whole planet blows up. It's going to continue to exist more or less forever. And that's a bizarre concept. We've created something immortal, and it's the worst of us. The worst of what we have to offer. Maybe that's unfair. That's probably unfair. It feels like it right now, though. I'm not sure that I had a point here, except that I woke up at 4 a.m. and couldn't fall back asleep, and got up at 6 a.m. having been cycling through Twitter and being sad and thinking maybe I should process why I feel sad in a video that I'm going to share with strangers on the internet. Again, irony does not escape me. Oh, the sun is coming up. That's great. It's daytime now. Yeah, I don't have answers. I have no answers other than, good Lord, be kind. I don't mean don't have opinions, don't have viewpoints, but compassion goes a long way. And not posting stupid shit also goes a long way. I'm not an authority on this subject. I am just a consumer of it. An unhappy one. I have to believe that there's a better way for us to operate as a species with this thing that we've created that doesn't seem to be going away. The internet does not seem to be going away, and we have to evolve to survive it. That sounds so post-apocalyptic. It's too early to be having serious discussions. Or maybe it's the perfect time. Anyway, I'm gonna work on some screenplays. So look out for each other.